Immigration, the president put a long Truth Social tweet out. We'll show it to you, but it's too long to read. Basically, he's gone from saying we're only deporting criminals to saying we're deporting everybody to saying we're deporting workers who've never committed crimes to saying we're not going to deport people in hospitality and
Agriculture.
agriculture to saying now in this long Truth Social post, we're going to deport people in blue places because the blue places are letting these people in to create all sorts of blue vision of America, of open borders. I don't know. He got transgender in there. I'm not sure how that affects this, but open borders and people voting illegally and taking federal money, all the third world dystopia, etc. So the reality is, this is good politics, as far as I'm concerned, for him because this creates the pressure on the left, inspires, gets the right revved up, and allows him to deport a lot of people without his donors or his friends having their businesses disrupted. So, Sean, what's both the politics and substance of this going forward?
So during the first term, the most effective and compelling briefing I ever saw anyone give Trump was Sonny Perdue, former governor of of Georgia and the ag secretary. And he walked in very similar to the room. The reporting is that Brooke Rollins was the one who explained to him the impact that some of the stuff is having on the ag community. And Sonny Perdue walked in with a bunch of charts and just said they were all maps and said, I know what you're doing. Here's your policy, and I just wanted you to know how it's going to affect, which voters and where. And the president was immediately aware of the political impact of that. And I think Brooke Rollins, according to the reporting, did a very similar thing, which is just to show where this goes. So I think obviously we all know that Tom Homan and Steve Miller and others have made it clear that we're going to go after criminals first. But if you round up other people in the country illegally while you're doing it, you can't just let them go. You have to treat them, adjudicate that issue at the same time. I think that for them to continue to stay the focus on criminals, on people who have allegations of wrongdoing in this country is the right thing to do. But I also think this is a moment where Republicans should seize the moment. And there is this false choice that it continues to be perpetrated, which is that you have to give everyone a path to citizenship, which I fully disagree with. That we can use this moment while we have the majorities to recognize what we can do on immigration. I believe that if you are here through no fault of your own, you were a dreamer or whatever, you shouldn't be given citizenship. You shouldn't be rewarded with that. And that we could, if leaders were smart and the president and the White House wanted to seize the moment, they could figure out a way to do legal status, which would allow people to stay in the country but not get the right to vote and get the privilege of citizenship. So to me, the question isn't what we just do now. It's how do Republicans recognize that we have a guaranteed majority for another 18 months? Can we do something smart and seize that?
Yeah, to me, this is, what myself and others have been arguing the Democratic Party should have done to try to triangulate this issue, which is to admit there's a problem at the southern border, fully support closing it, admit that those who are here illegally have committed crimes, either here or in their home country, should not be here and deport them. And now go to the question of what do you do with all these people, right? Trump is admitting the obvious. You cannot blow up the US economy and tear these people out of the hospitality industry, the agriculture industry. If I were the Democrats, I would be all over TV talking about all the other industries in swing states that also are going to need to be exempted, because you're going to get local officials in the local chamber of commerce is coming out to say, amen. Trump knows it. He's very politically smart. So to me, it was genius. I laugh because only he can do 180 degree, or I'll say this is like 110 degree pivot and get away with it. Look, I think between this and Iran, the reason he did that tweet last night is it's red meat tossing out. Total red meat to the base to say, go focus on that shiny red ball, not what I did Friday evening and not what I'm going to do over the weekend, which is get us into further into the Middle East in this. So he's a genius, and our ineptitude allows him to move unabated.
Um,
Other than that, happy Monday.
Democrats, paralyzed on both Israel,
Yep.
where they can only nibble around the edges in terms of criticism, and on that True Social post, because they know that this is they're in both places. They're operating from a very tough place to try to keep up with Trump, who's an 800-pound gorilla moving 500 miles an hour.
Well, and let's also admit, Chicago, J.B. Pritzker, welcome to the hot seat now. You're up like Gavin Newsom was.
Yeah.
Kathy Hochul in our mayoral race. Elise Stefanik had her moment against Hochul the other day. Raw politics. I mean, he's teeing people up to smack around.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.